I just move shit with my mind.
Perhaps our connection has somehow awoken some abilities.
I just moved shit with my mind.
What's up, DisBearity Legion? My name is DisBearity here, and today we're going to talk about Forspoken. What the heck is going on with this game here? So, with Forspoken, this is a game that I actually been anticipating for quite a while. I mean, it's a PS5 game, of course, exclusive to that console. Now, for me at least, I was like really entertained that, you know, it's a kai, basically, you know, as you guys know what anime is, of course, in that, you know, this girl gets transported from New York to another world, basically, right? So that's really cool, you know, concept to me at least, right? And so with that being said, there's been a lot of issues coming up with this game, whether a lot of people's been saying it's like bland, the combat is a little bit too hard, the graphics aren't up to par, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, you see, I'm not a person that likes to judge like games or anything of the sort like that hard, but it feels like is this being like overbloated, or are people being serious about it? And this is the stuff that I really want to know. I mean, the first thing is that really gets me though is that price tag. You know, $70. As of recently, video games right now, to me, they haven't been worth $70. Let's just be honest here. And that's like pretty much my issue, is that they just haven't been worth $70. Whether they come out with like bugs, you know, graphical glitches, stuff, and so on and so forth, or just media core gameplay. I don't think like most game developers, I don't know, it feels weird. Like, feels good enough that you can just wait for the game to drop in like half price or whatever after a couple months or so. That's what I'm looking. No, that's how I'm looking at it, right? And then some people I've seen already are stating that Forspoken is already going to get a PS4 port, which is like Godfall in the next couple months after release. So I mean, that's kind of funny in my opinion, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. So here I'm going to show you guys two Forbes articles here. You know, 2 red flags PS5's Forspoken has raised already. So let's go ahead and read through here. So Forspoken is soon to be released blockbuster from Square Enix, one that represents a major console exclusive for PS5 in 2023. But I am starting to grow increasingly skeptical of this game, as every day feels like it's bringing some new red flag. So Square Enix, sadly, as recently had, you know, a lot of their games have been like hitting the nail in the coffin. Square Enix is in some type of, I don't know, they're in a weird mood right now. I mean, it's like the only games that they can pretty much hit out is Final Fantasy, and that's pretty much it, you know. So specifically, there seem to be 3 different points of concern that make me wonder how Forspoken actually is going to play at release. Codes have gone out, so here's an update here. The codes have gone out for reviews of the game. So, you know, the embargo, this is a day before release. So not a lot of people, so now that our reviews people didn't have much time to actually review it. That's a red flag, basically. First, the demo. The demo is, or has, not gone great. While it's nice to have a demo at all in this day and age, reception for what's been playable has generally not been that positive. All in response to negative feedback, Square Enix issued a patch for the demo last night to fix some issues. On the one hand, you could say it's a nice commitment to fixing what's broken. On the other hand, it seems somewhat concerning to be issuing a patch for a demo when the full release of the game is in 6 days. If there's this much wrong with the demo, what's the state of the full game exactly? I mean, they got a point though, because, you know, a demo, this will show you guys, basically it's like you take the full game, cut a slice out of it, boom, that's the demo, right? So they kind of spitting right now. I don't know. And then the PC specs. This guy says, good lord, what happened here? Hold on, let me read that. Hold on, let me make sure to clean my glasses to read that real quick. You know, you gotta make sure to read that correctly. These were just issued yesterday, and they scream a game that has been poorly optimized from the top to bottom. The recommended specs are 24 gigs of RAM. What the fuck? In a 3070 for just 30 FPS gameplay. That's hilariously terrible. Ultra specs demand a 480 and 32 gigs of RAM, which I cannot say I have ever seen before. And then hopefully they will get you to 60 FPS. And oh, did I mention the 150 gigs of SS? What the fuck? Okay, first thing is, you know, when it comes to my computer, I have a AMD RX 5700, first off, and that graphics card's been doing me quite well for the past like 2 years, right? I do have 32 gigs of RAM myself, and I also have over 5, like, let's say like 6 terabytes of data space, right? Bruh. But those specs though, yeah, that literally does scream unoptimized. It's like it's like for the minimum, you need like a Ryzen 5 1600 at 3.7 gigahertz for CPU. Recommended, you need a Ryzen 5 3600. Ryzen 5 3600, okay. Then you need a Ryzen, what's that, 5 5800. Oh yeah, what the, What the hell? I mean, graphics card wise, you need like RX 5500, AMD Radeon 6700. Yeah, that's like newer, like last 2 generations of GPUs and CPUs there. Yeah, they need to go ahead and fix that for sure. Then I have a bad feeling about this. Some of the later trailers convinced me maybe Forspoken would turn out okay, and once they shed the goofy voiceovers.
Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what? I'll probably fly next.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
But there's just too much weirdness going on here to feel like this launch is going to go well and the game is going to launch in a state it should be in. I guess we'll find out in less than a week. Reviewers are 2 perhaps at this rate. So this is on the 20th. This is like 3 days ago. Update. My first draft for this piece originally said that the review codes had not gone out for Forspoken yet, which is a 3rd red flag. But I subsequently learned that that wasn't the case. Some codes had gone out, and yet I've learned more that still makes whatever is going on with reviews somewhat weird. From what I can tell, there are no PC codes of the game out for review. This means that we will not get to see whether these wild recommended PC specs will lead to a poorly optimized game until after launch. So I would absolutely hold off picking up a copy of that on that platform until any potential issues are known. And of the review copies that have gone out, it's clear that Square Enix is playing the industry little limited code quantities game where they try to say that there are only a certain number of unlimited digital codes they can give out, which really means that they are just steering away from certain outlets. People I heard from, Patrick Klubik, Waypoint doesn't have a code. YouTuber SkillUp doesn't have one. Andy Robson, head of VGC, doesn't have one, which he cites as highly unusual. And there you go right here. So Andy Robinson says, it looks like VGC sadly won't be publishing a Forspoken review on Monday. Square Enix has decided not to supply us with a code. That's an extremely rare occurrence for us, so read into it how you like. RPG Site and Windows Central don't have codes either. I have one, but I didn't request one. To be fair, that sometimes they're just offered regardless. So yes, while these codes are not out, Square Enix is avoiding certain outlets, and it appears that no one will know how this game runs on PC before launch, so be careful. And now we're going to be reading the news article that just came out literally today. So before we even get into the second article here, I mean, I just want to state that, like, I really want this game to succeed in its own way. Like, you know, I'm not a person that likes to judge, like, a lot of games hardcore, because, you know, I'm a gamer at least, and even if the game's kind of or somewhat bad, I at least try to look in the best things, you know. I mean, I played a lot of worse games or whatnot, but I understand that in this day and age in AAA gaming, it's just certain games or certain developers and publishers, games aren't just good anymore, especially if you're charging upwards of $70 for your game. It just makes no sense to me. Like, I know the majority of games these days are, like, you know, going up to $70, but like the problem is that when you release games that are just bad in story, bad in bugs, or being more political, then these games aren't going to do well, especially for people like, you know, just purely gamers, you know. And that's my problem these days. Like, you know, Forspoken, seeing a black woman become a main character, it's really cool. I really like that kind of idea. But at least give her a decent story and decent gameplay and make it good so where we can get more and more of these type of games. Like, I don't know. I think it's just, we're in a weird space right now. But let's go ahead and get into this article here. As I previously stated, with the red flags have been going up about Square Enix's Forspoken left and right. As of late, the demo is not terribly well received and needed its own patch for release. The PC specs of the game were ludicrous, and the dialogue in the trailers felt cringeworthy. But the idea was that perhaps the final product could surprise us, and at the very least, the cool spellcasting created world overcome any issues. Turns out that it is not the case. Reviews are spilling in for Forspoken, and they are pretty bad. And that's even with Square Enix trying to do review score damage control. As I write this, Forspoken currently has a 68 on OpenCritic with only 32% of the critics recommending it. It has a 66 on Metacritic. And context of other video game releases, these are bad scores, bad aggregates. These are numbers no studio wants to see in the industry, where 90 plus is a potential game of the year. 85 plus is enough to landing your team potential bonuses. And 75 plus is considered pretty good. If you're landing in the 60s in these aggregates, that's a bad sign. Here, Forspoken is 66. It's only 5 points above 2022 Saints Row Reboot at 61. So they're comparing to Saints Row. That's bad. That's so bad. Widely thought to be one of the biggest misses of last year. In this case, this is all even worse because 2 factors. Square Enix pulled the old limited digital codes trick and specifically avoided giving codes to many outlets. On top of that, with everyone wondering if this game's going to be badly optimized PC due to insane recommended specs Square Enix released, there are zero reviews of PC copies. All this is on PS5, so it's entirely possible that scores may have been even worse. Outlets got copies of PC codes actually went out. So here's also the problem with this too. So, you know, let's go ahead and talk about the Saints Row reboot. That game failed because they said, we're going to rewrite the story or rewrite Saints Row for the modern audiences. And so, as you guys know, that means they're going to change everything to compensate for the Gen Zs, you know, for the people that are sensitive, you know, that want to say, cool guys, let's go, let's have fun. You know, some weird, and I got it. I hate it, and it's cringy. Like, any game to me that says rewrite for modern audiences is dead on arrival. Put it like that. So, you know, I wish that companies will stop focusing on, I don't like saying the woke crowd. I don't like saying that, but quit focusing on those people because they don't care about your games. Like, bring back what people wanted was, you know, you could erase Gat out of Hell or put that in a separate timeline, but at least continue from Saints Row 3, or even hell, continue from Saints Row 2. Because I actually enjoyed, like, Saints Row to me was like the only, competitor to GTA, but then they went their own way, of course. But, you know, let's continue here because I don't want to get off topic. So here goes some outlets here. You know, got IGN at 1 out of 6. You got GameSpot at 5 out of 10. You got Games Radar 5 out of 10. So it's like, I'm a bit surprised that one of the more positive mainstream reviews is from Gene Park at the Washington Post, who gave it an 8 out of 10. Forspoken doesn't do anything new for the open world genre of games, but it does offer enough to distinguish itself, mostly thanks to Frey and her magic spells and a story able to stick to the landing. Or translate this to White and speak. Yep, she really just did that. In general, the complaints are about dialogue where there's actually a less banter setting in the options to make it less annoying, and the blandness of the open world generally. Spellcasting seems to be a highlight, and as I figured it might be from the demo, but it's not enough to offset the other issues. This is bad for both Square Enix and for PlayStation, who touted this as one of the major console exclusives of the year. And we should now brace ourselves to figure out how exactly this performs on PC with the crazy recommended specs. We will apparently not know until the game is literally on sale in the WoW tomorrow. I would undoubtedly wait for the Digital Foundry review for buying this game. So yeah, as you see here, it is what it is. You know, it's like sometimes, you know, you wish games to succeed. Sometimes, you know, they just won't, and it's sad, cringeworthy, and it is what it is. You know, and that's all I have to say about this game. Honestly, I think I said what I need to say. There's no more that I can say. So what I want you guys to do is let me know what you guys think in the comment section about below, because I really want to know what are your thoughts on Forspoken for sure. You know, if you guys agree with me, if you don't agree with me, that's perfectly cool. You know, if you like it, dislike it, that's great. But thank y'all for taking the time to watch. Thank y'all for your support, and we'll see y'all for the next video. Peace out. Much love, everybody. Have a good one, y'all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also hit the bell notification down below. Thanks for watching.